Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whichever part of the world you are joining us from, Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, GCPITT, welcome you all for this knowledgeable session, Cross-Border Trade and Investment for Indian Businesses. There are approx 63.39 million MSMEs across various sectors in India. The Indian MSME industry is expected to contribute approx 50% to the country's GDP by 2025. The industry is the second largest employment generator in India as of FY 2022, with more than 111 million people employed. The pandemic has accelerated the digitalization of businesses, but further compounded the digital drive. We need to best practice that create new opportunities for MSMEs and help build a sustainable economy. In order to achieve the goal, Honourable Prime Minister for being 5 trillion economy, the India needs to empower its forces of economic soldiers by promoting Make in India and Make for the World. The Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, and Connect Ventures are joining hands to celebrate this Republic Day by empowering entrepreneurs for cross-border trade and investments. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself. I am Ananya Banerjee Chatterjee, the R&D and Communication Officer and your host for today. Let us begin. I would like to call our first speaker for the day, Mr. Udit Gupta, CAICAI-MIA. He is the Director of Chartered Accountant of India, and he will be sharing his valuable insights on the topic, the transfer pricing companies for cross-border businesses. Over to you, Mr. Gupta.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are audible. Thank you.
So is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So hello everyone from Canada. So topic given to me is about the transfer pricing. And first of all, I would like to start with apologies. So over here, the timing is currently 1:34 at night. So I won't be into my full senses. So apologies in advance. But I will just try my best to the topic I have been given to deliberate upon. So over here, so first of all, we start with the transfer pricing. Over here, what is transfer pricing and wherever and where it is required and what's the logic behind this. So let me go to this one. So currently, like every one of you will be using a car, and every one of you will be knowing. So it's not like it's a single country who is manufacturing the car. Like suppose if you're using a Tesla, so there are many parts which will use in Tesla, or you are using a Mercedes. So there will be many components which will use in Mercedes. So there will be an engine will be manufactured in Germany, suppose, and there will be a chassis will be manufactured in China, and there will be brakes which will be manufactured in Japan. And so all of them have been gathered into India and are been assembled and been sold to like Dubai or to the other countries. But it seems like very simple. But if you will see, like there are many countries involved in into a single transaction. And when all the things are assembled and being transferred to another country, so over here the fight begins between all the countries, and the fight is between like suppose the car is sold for 25 lakh rupees, and the cost of manufacturing of the whole car is suppose 20 lakh. So there is a profit of 5 lakh rupees. So the country will be fighting between them that who will keep those 5 lakh. So the company, the country will be making the chassis. Suppose China, they will be saying that they will be giving the complete 5 lakh, and the taxes should be payable over there. And the company like Germany, they will be saying that the engine has been manufactured over here. So ultimately, all the profits, everything pertains to the Germany. So all the profit 5 lakhs pertains to this country. And the India will be saying that ultimately it's a made in India. All the parts, everything comes to India and with manufacture is being compiled over here. And there will be third country. Suppose the car is been assembled in India and it's been sold in USA. So the USA will be saying that the customer was based in USA. The profit center, ultimately all the profits, like wherever the profit is generated, it pertains to USA. So it's a very complex process. So in whichever country, if you are it's a global world. If you want to grow, you will have to sell your product across the globe, or if you want to expand, ultimately you will have to cross the borders. And when you cross the borders, so this issue is something very pertinent, and this is something a very big issue which is coming, and this is the most litigative issues. I would say the most litigative issue in the world as of now. The most CFOs, the most biggest person or the finance person who are sitting who are sitting on the top post in any company. You take Apple or you take Amazon or whatever company you take. All are very much concerned about this transfer pricing, because there is no direct answer to it. It's very subjective, and there are huge adjustment in India. Even if you take India, the highest adjustment, the highest addition which were proposed to SSE was related to transfer pricing. If you have ever heard a case of Vodafone, if you have ever heard a case of Shell, those are like 3,000 crore, 5,000 crore. So these are the potential of adjustment in this under this law. And this is a global law. It's not like each country modifies it. It's been taken from it's a global law. How is it been done? How is it undertaken? So it's been primarily governed by OECD, Organization Economic Development Corporation, and each it's kind of a Bible, or it's kind of a Bhagavad Gita of transfer pricing, which each country take it in a part and parcel and imbibing their law in their tax law. So it's a global law, and each country use specified methods. Like same will be you can say 99% same will be for US, 95% will be same for the India, and 98% will be same for, you can say, Bangladesh or for China. So if you specialize in this one, so this is something, and ultimately you will have to take care if you are into cross border transaction. If you are having a multinational company. So over here, okay. So let me tell you the issue. So where the issue is over here. So suppose you are based in India, and you are selling equipment, or you are selling, suppose, a cell phone, or you are selling suppose a candle, or whatever you're selling a services to a person sitting in USA. The selling price of that finished good is 1,20,000 INR, and the cost of that good is 68,000. So ultimately, so just the sale minus cost, so the profit you are earning on the transaction is 52,000. On 52,000, the tax at 30%, you are paying the tax. Ultimately, the tax cost to you is 15,600, and profit after tax is 36,400. So, and being a businessman, everybody wants to maximize their profit. And the one of the way, it's a very unique way, and you will realize so how the Dubai is growing as an economy, and the other tech jurisdiction like Ireland, and you have heard many fancy names. And so here lies the catch, and how they save the taxes. See, so what they do is, previously they were selling for entirely, they were invoicing to USA for like 20,000. Now what they will be doing is, they will be invoicing to Dubai in place of invoicing it to USA directly. So what they will be doing is, so they will be invoicing 70,000 for India. India company will be invoicing for a goods, for a medicine, or for whatever your product is. They will be selling it to USA for 70,000, and the cost of that product is 68,000. And ultimately, your profit reduced to, in India, your profit reduced to 2,000, which previously it was 52,000 over here. Now what you did is, it now what you did is, from Dubai, now you are selling to USA the same good. You are selling it for 1,20,000, and now the cost for Dubai is 70,000. Ultimately, you have parked all your profits in Dubai, and over there the profit is zero. So the effective cost, the effective tax is just 600 if you go via Dubai. And over here, in our previous transaction, the profit, the tax rate was the tax amount, the cost of tax to you was 15,600. So 15,600 to 600. You can see it's such a lubricative way, and this is how Dubai and the other tax jurisdiction, which are where there is no tax or where there is very less tax, are growing as economy. So now so government have taken a measure, and what they do is, so they firstly will check into the details of your transaction to whatever you're selling outside. If you're selling in Dubai, if it's owned by you, there are certain guidelines to what they will be taking it as your associated enterprises, what they will be considering, or to whom they will be considering it will be a related party transaction, or this is between yourself, or you are forging the things. So to whom they will be checking. So if a subsidiary, if it's a wholly owned subsidiary, so we'll be going to that part as well. But yes, Indian government, whatever you are selling to your related company, on which you can on which you have the powers, or you have certain insights, or you control the board to whatever the price you are selling. So ultimately, Indian government will be checking the price. They will be first of all seeing that what Dubai company was doing, whether the Dubai company was adding something of value to a transaction, or whether it was just a paper company was sitting over there. So they will be looking into if the pricing, if the selling price to Dubai should be 70,000, or it shall be 1,20,000. So this is all about the transfer pricing. So this is just which I have tried to give to you. So ultimately, it's all about structuring the transaction, structuring to whatever you are selling to USA, to whichever country you are selling. So ultimately, your motive could be to save the profits in a legal way, and ultimately, in government profit, and the government motivation will be to maximize their profit. and and so just see to whatever the transaction, whatever country to whom you are selling, or wherever there is a related party of yours, just see the pricing you are doing is appropriate, is correct. Okay, now going to so it's India. So now we're going to the Indian transfer pricing regulations. So I've just given you the background. So where the transfer pricing was required, and how people were saving the money, or how they were saving the tax, and ultimately how the government comes up with the new regulation to catch hold of the persons who are using low tax jurisdictions, or or they are just expensing of the company. Like suppose over here there is a you make a company in Singapore, and you are just billing them that you have taken some services for them, for suppose for website development or for consulting. You are just invoicing them for a service. Like suppose you over here your profit 52,000. You just expense of so you so you incorporate a company in Singapore, and you say that they have provided you a business consulting services of 52,000. You can make it entirely zero, and all your profit shifted to a tax havens, or countries which are having a zero tax, like Singapore is having a 12%. So now for this, the Indian government has come up with Section 92. I won't go much into details. I understand that most of you are business persons. So I will be I won't be using these sections and all. Just give me a minute. Okay. 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 So for transfer pricing, basically there are three components to it. So first component is that whatever you are selling, or whatever, like what should be the so there are three components to it. The first component is that whatever you are selling, to whom, on which transactions would transfer pricing be applicable. So over here, it's almost all the transaction to whatever you are doing are being fall under the law. Whatever transaction, like if you are doing a purchase or sale of tangible or intangible property, it covers all the goods. If you are taking any services, or you are providing any services, if you're lending any money to your related party, or if you're taking any money from related party, if there is any income, if any transaction which hit your income, profit, losses, or PNL, it will be taken. If there is any agreement between you that you will be sharing the cost, like suppose you open up a BPO or a KPO in suppose Vietnam, and there are two persons. One is sitting in China, and one is sitting in India. If both of you are sharing a cost of that KPO, or that accounting center, that whatever the cost you will be distributing, that also will be covered under the transfer pricing. So in nutshell, to whatever transaction, whatever international transaction, to whatever business transaction you will be doing with your associated enterprise or a related party, it is being covered by the Indian law. Okay, so and the second part is, okay, first is a transaction, which type of transaction will become a transfer pricing, and now comes the like in which party is it, which are the two parties to whom the government will be considering as a related party. And then will be coming that once that there is a transaction, once there is a related party, then what are the compliances you are supposed to do to be a transfer pricing compliant person. Okay. Okay. So first of the transaction is so first kind of a person is that if uh, if you own a 26% of a shareholding in the another company, like suppose you are in India and there is a and you are having a company in USA and you are having more than 26% of the shareholding in that company, then that company will be your associated enterprise. This is the most simplest way to this is the most simplest structure. And this one is like suppose you are in India and there is a company in you own a company in USA and you own a company in China. So if there is any transaction between USA as well as in China, so both these transactions will also be so between USA and China. These any transaction between USA and China will also be covered under the transfer pricing. And so and if there is any so if you have taken a loan from any person and that person is have to whatever your liabilities, whatever the liability is showing in your books, if the liability is more than 51% of your total assets, book value of assets, like suppose you are having your assets is 100,000 or suppose 1 lakh, and if SBI has given you a loan of 51,000, so SBI will be a related party in the most simplest way. Over here, if one party guarantees not less than 10% of your total borrowing, so total borrowing is like suppose you have borrowed 1 lakh rupees from someone, and there is another from the bank SBI, and there is another person who is guaranteeing that he will be that if there's any kind of a default, that person will be paying that person in case of default. So even if the 10% of our amount which has been guaranteed, so even that will be covered as a that person will be also be covered as a guarantee under the transfer pricing. And if there is any half of the board of director, if there is any power like to appoint half of the board of director or even a one executive board of director, even that person will be your associated enterprises. So over here it is manufacture processing of article business at one person. So you can say like if um, so if you are having Apple manufacturing in India, and like suppose Apple is providing you all the know-how, how you will be manufacturing it, how you will be doing it. So even Apple, like even a third party for whom you will be doing the services, even there is no stake, he don't hold any shareholding in you. But yes, if he's providing you know-how and your know-how is completely dependent on that know-how, so that will be a related party. And there was a very interesting case. So there was a five-star hotel, like suppose there was a five-star hotel in India. A person was owning a hotel, and that person they um, took a license or took a branding from Marriott or say from Holiday Inn, from the other big players in this field, and that person and to whomsoever you are taking that brand and you are using in your hotel. So ultimately, that person will also be an associated enterprise, being you are just a customer to that person. But but income tax authority takes them as associated enterprise as a related party because they believe that ultimately that person to whom your brand is dependent upon, he can govern the guidelines and he can govern the money whatever he will be charging. So if you're doing any manufacturing and you are procuring, like suppose you are doing a manufacturing of a car or any equipment, or you can say you are manufacturing any mobile, and ultimately more than 90% of the raw material whichever is being used in that mobile if you are using it, if you are buying it or purchasing it from any related party, oh sorry, any third party, that will also be considered as a related party. Okay, this is manufacturing and process. So this is also, and this one is more important. So if you are an individual and there is another individual who owns like in the another country, like suppose in India you owns a company, and in USA it's your wife who owns a company, or say it's your mother who owns a company. So many I've seen the many cases, like we assume that it should be our company or it should be our holding. It's not like that. Even if your relative is holding that company, that would also be considered as a related party transaction. Or so whatever transaction you are doing with your relatives also will be considered. A relative is a defined under. It's not like Durga Chacha Mama. It's not like everyone will be covered. But yes, a close relative, and it's been defined under the law. Meaning not less than 10%. Computation of arm's length price. Okay, so now we have seen. So we have understand what kind of transactions are covered by transfer pricing. It's almost all the transactions are covered under transfer pricing, and we have seen like which transactions will be covered, with whom they will be considering as associated enterprises or a third party or a related party. So the previously you have seen like again the more than 26% holding. You can say if you have a powers to appoint a board of directors, more than 50% board of director, one executive member, or your business is completely dependent upon the know-how of the another person, or more than 90% of the raw material you are procuring, or more than 10% of the guarantee has been provided. So if there is any condition and you have transacted with that person, so you will have to comply with the transfer pricing rules. And for transfer pricing rules, you will have to, I will just give you overall just an overview. I won't go much more into detail. These are very complex. These could be very complex. But yes, ultimately, if there is a transfer pricing, you will have to prepare a documentation. And in that documentation, you will have to show that to whatever transaction you have entered into with your related parties, if you would have entered into with some unrelated party, that would have been same. So there could be two ways to it. So one way is like you have sold XYZ goods to your, like suppose there's your holding company sitting in India and there is your company sitting in USA. You have sold an item to USA for $100, and there is another company to whom you have sold it for $100, which is not related to you. So that is something government will be looking for, and this is something. This is something we will have to document. So this is one of the method, comparable and controlled price method. And over the second one, it's like suppose you purchased a certain item for 100 and sold that item to your USA or to another company for 150. So over there you earned a gross margin of $50. So whatever the $50 you have earned, like over there is not direct to one-to-one comparison. Suppose you have sold a VCR or a CD player, and to the another third party you have sold a washing machine or a refrigerator or something comparable to it. So over there you can show like in both the items I have earned something similar income. Same is with the cost plus. So whatever the cost you are earning, what you were earning over and above that. Profit split again is something very technical. I won't go into the details of this one, but yes, this is something um, where there are two persons who are having a very unique profile. Like suppose, in sense, like I'm a chartered accountant, I specialize in tax, I specialize in transfer pricing, and there is another friend of mine who specializes in audit. So if we go to a, if so I went to a company and company asked me for that they want a service and they want a holistic service. They just don't need a person who is specialized in audit or who specialize in transfer pricing or industrial tax or into taxation. So they need a, so with me and my friend both will be going to that as a company and will be pitching it as a all together. And ultimately, whatever profit will be coming, so it will be divided among what the unrelated party will be. So there are specialized softwares for this, on which the net profit will be seen at what the unrelated parties are earning and what I should be earning. And same is with the net profit and net transactional method. So over here, we saw what the gross profit was. In the net transactional method, it's like we will be, it's not like to what you have sold, we will be deducting your we will be deducting your rental expenses, your marketing expenses, and other things, whatever the net expenses you are net profit you are earning. So these are the methods which you will have to document. You will have to show that you have earned appropriate method, appropriate profits, what you will have been earning with the related parties. And there is a guideline which is being prescribed. Okay, I'm going directly to keeping this. Okay, most appropriate method. So okay, so whenever you um, so there is a whenever the transfer pricing applicable, as I was mentioning to you, like you will have to prepare transfer documentation. And in addition to transfer pricing documentation, there are three more documents. But I've really seen or not. I understand this is for MSMEs. These are for the small businesses. But for the big businesses, there are other two documents as well for the master file and CBCR. And the CBCR is just like it's applicable for the companies for whom the turnover is 5,000 crore. It's a very huge huge compliances which are supposed to be done in that. So I will just keep my um, I will just be sharing my details for the basic transmission documentation. So there's just a one document which you'll have to prepare. This is it's covered in section 92D, and that transmission documentation mentions that what was your kind of a transactions. And I'm just telling you on the very simplest way. It's not that simple, but yes, on the very simplest way, to what the transactions you have entered, and ultimately, and what was your relation with your associated enterprises, in which section do you think that the other person is related to you, and then you will have to specify to them that what methods you have chosen to mention, like the five methods we just discussed recently. Out of those five methods, which was the most appropriate method which you have chosen to show that your transaction is at the arm's length price. So this is a very small thing, and ultimately once you prepare this documentation, you will go to a chartered accountant, and chartered accountant will be authenticating it that you have prepared the documentation and the pricing and all the things you have mentioned over there. It's good as per the law, and that form is called Form 3CB, and the penalty for non-filing that form is 1 lakh rupees. Sorry, I'm sitting in Canada, so it's always coming as a dollar. So it's 1 lakh INR for is a penalty. And if you're not making the documentations as per section 92D, so the penalty is 2%. And it will be 2 plus 2% can be very harsh, or it's on the amount of transaction. Suppose there's a transaction amount of 4 lakhs. There was a transaction, you sold you sold goods to your related company in USA for 1 CR. On that 1 CR, there could be a penalty of 4 lakh rupees. So their penalties are very, very harsh. So I will strongly suggest to comply with all the transfer pricing regulations. So this is something like you can say a most revenue generating field for any company for whom the case is been picked for, because the additions are very huge over here, and government are very aggressive, especially Indian government are very aggressive on transfer pricings, what I've seen. So this is from my side, my half an hour. I was supposed to speak half an hour. I hope I have I have been able to add some value to it. You are mute, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Udit.
Yeah.
Thank you. And our second speaker is Dr. Anil Gupta, Chairman, Connect Ventures, and he will be sharing his valuable insights on the topic, the tax compliance for US businesses owned by Indians and foreigners. Over to you, Mr. Anil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, thank you very much to Mr. Udit. Udit is director of Indian Chartered Accountant Institute to Toronto chapter in Canada. And in the mid of the night, he came to share the information with the audience. That is really appreciated. So let me take this opportunity to thank you before starting. Now, today we will discuss about different information related to taxation in US. So US, sometime when we are dealing with overseas countries, we assume that whatever the system is in India, the similar system will be there in the US also, or in any other country also. So those assumptions can be risky sometimes. So let's understand the subject, and accordingly, we can take the decision. We can stay informed. What are the compliances involved? What kind of different compliances applicable to your business, and when these need to be done. So there are different type of taxes involved in the US. So it's the income tax, estate and gift tax, social securities, sales and use tax, franchise tax. There are many different type of taxes involved, and the good thing is there are not a single authority which is taxing. There are multiple entities which are taxing to different kind of entities. So for example, at the federal level, certain taxes are at the federal level, certain taxes are state level, and even at the county and city level also. So it's very important to understand what compliance, when, by whom, where I need to file suitable returns, etc. So we will discuss everything here in this session. So when we discuss about the taxes, it depends upon like taxes on what? On the wealth or on the income or like that. So we will discuss taxes on income also, on the wealth also. To begin with, taxes on income, there are multiple taxes like the income tax, is the payroll tax, estate tax, and capital gain tax. So income tax, everybody knows, whatever you earn as a revenue or as a personal venture, whatever the entrepreneurship mission you have. So that is the income generated from your means of livelihood, and that income need to be considered for the income tax. Similarly, there is a estate tax. Estate tax is basically when you transfer any property to the next generation after the death of a person. There is certain tax applicable. So that is the estate tax that is considered as an income. So that tax, estate tax, need to be paid. In India, usually the inheritance is free, but when you go to the registration, they will charge 2.5%, or I think something that kind of amount for registering the name change. Then there is a payroll tax. Payroll tax is related to employment. Usually every employee has 15.3% payroll tax contribution. Half of that is contributed by the employee and half is done by the employer. But in case of an employee has income higher than $200,000 a year, then there is additional 0.9% payroll tax is applicable, and that need not to be matched by the employer. And then there is a capital gain tax. So payroll tax is basically what the payroll tax is basically for the purpose of providing security. Just like in India, you have the ESI, you have the PF. Similarly, they have social security, they have Medicare or blah, blah. unemployment allowance, and many things. So for that, they collect the payroll tax. And then capital gain tax for anything which, when you sell something, growing assets, maybe shares, maybe house, maybe any other things, then there is a capital gain tax applicable. Similarly, on the property, there are 3 different kinds of taxes applicable. If you own a property, annually you need to pay something, which in India you say it's house tax. So similarly, in the US, you need to pay the property tax every year. And real estate tax is when you buy any real estate, then depends upon how much value. Just like the stamp duty you pay in India, you need to pay real estate tax. And then the personal property tax. If you have something mobile properties, mobile property means you may have the mobile home, you may have the car, something like that. For that, you need to pay some tax annually. So that is the personal property tax. Then taxes on goods and services. So there is different kind of taxes applicable. Sell tax on anything you purchase as a retail transaction, then the sales tax is applicable. But if you are purchasing something for reselling, then it's not applicable. For example, you bought some books from a US publisher and selling it on Amazon. So you need not to pay the sales tax in that case. Then there is a luxury tax. Just like in India, there is a 28% slab of GST. Some of the items are considered expensive and luxurious and only afforded by the people who have the higher income group. So there is an additional tax for such items known as luxury tax. There is one interesting thing, sin tax. Sin tax is basically some of the things which are prohibited. For example, smoking, casino, these kind of product or services. If you are consuming those things, then there is a sin tax applicable in some of the states. So sin things are maybe allowed or not allowed in some of the states. In some of the states, it's allowed with the sin tax. In some of the states, it's allowed without sin tax. So it depends upon what kind of jurisdiction you have. So if you have any business related to sin tax, then you need to decide about your state where you need to incorporate a company. And then there is a tax on the user fees. So for example, when you are going to a toll bridge, you use the toll road, that's why you are giving the toll fee. And there should be a tax on that toll fee also. So those are the user fees. Besides it, there is some more taxes. For example, similar to sell tax, there is a use tax. So use tax is something like, for example, let me explain you with the example for better clarity. You run a restaurant. You sell say 1,000 orders a day. So you pay sell tax for those 1,000 orders. But end of the day, your 10 staff, chefs or waiters or everybody are hungry and you serve meal to them. So that is free of charge. So government says, if you will go outside and buy the food, then definitely there will be sales tax applicable. So in that case, here it's mercy of your employer. He is not charging you money for the food, but you need to pay the tax. So that is the use tax. So let's understand income tax in greater details. There are multiple sources for income tax. There are you can have the income from your means of livelihood, like the job or your self-employment. And then there can be certain scholarship for the students, or maybe some capital gains you have made. You bought a property and you sold it at the higher prices. And then dividends and bank interest, self-employment income, maybe gambling, prize awards, and other income which are not related to your direct to job or means of livelihood. For example, somebody invited you for a guest lecture in a university. So there you will be given the honorarium. So that honorarium will be coming into the other income because it's not considered as a means of livelihood. So in US, primarily, there is two categories of the income. One is active income, another one is a passive income. Passive income is like interest, dividends, royalties, like that. And active income is through the active business. So this categorization is very important because in some of the cases, maybe like if you are getting X dollars in active income, it may be taxed. If you are getting X dollar in passive income, the same amount in the same tax bracket, you are not getting the tax, or maybe vice versa. For example, the New Hampshire is a state where active income is tax-free. The state tax is not applicable. Of course, federal tax is consistent all across the country, but state tax is not applicable. However, the passive source of incomes, if you are getting any interest from the bank, any dividends, those things will be taxable. So similar to, depends upon the source of income, there are different kind of tax applicability. There are different kind of returns you need to file. And filing the returns may depend upon multiple things. One is the source of income. Another one is the filing status. For example, if as an individual, you may be a single person. So single means bachelor or divorcee, but not the widow or widower. You may be head of household. For example, in India, it is HUF. Then married but filing separately, or married and filing jointly, and widower. So these kind of different tax status exist. You need to identify what is the best tax status for you. So depends upon your income slabs. You need to identify if I'm married, I need to file jointly or I need to file separately. So depends upon your income pattern that CPA can suggest you that what kind of tax return you need to file. Some of the states allowed joint filing. Those are known as community property states. Some of the states don't allow the joint filing. For the corporate, there are the certain tax status. The very interesting thing is, in India, usually people, taxed based upon the type of entity. If you are a HUF, Hindu undivided family, then the tax slabs are something else. If you are a private limited company, the tax slab is something else. In US, the taxation, income tax specifically depends upon the kind of tax status you have. You may have a LLC company which may have different tax status. For example, it can be tax disregarded entity. It can be a partnership entity. It can be a even C Corp status. Depends upon your tax status. you will be treated differently. For example, if you hold a single member LLC and the tax status is tax disregarded entity, the company will not be taxed at all. All the income will be considered the income of the founder. So for example, in India, you earn 100 rupees in your private limited company. You pay the 30% tax in your private limited company first as a corporate income tax. And when you say 70 rupees as a profit after tax, then again you pay 21 rupees, assuming 30% slab, to the government as a individual income tax. So 51 rupees is going to the government pocket. And 49 rupees is actually being enjoyed by you. But in case of tax disregarded entities, if you are earning $100, entire $100 is coming to your pocket. And out of that, as per your income tax slab, individual income tax slab, you will be paying only the individual income tax. So there are different tax status. Based upon tax status only, you will be getting taxed, not as per the type of company. You may have the corporation, which has the C Corp tax status. You may have the LLC type of company, which may have the C Corp tax status. So many of the time people come to me after gathering certain knowledge on Google. They said, I need to make a C Corp type company. The C Corp is not the type of company, it's the corporation or it's the LLC. C Corp is the tax status. For the individual taxes, there are multiple factors which determines, for example, the resident or non-resident status. There is a significant presence test in which you need to define that what is your presence in current year in US. Current year means that year under consideration for filing the returns. Then the previous year, and then previous to that. So for 3 years, your presence is considered. There are different weightage for different years, and your total presence should not be 182 days in 3 years as per different weightage. So for example, the tax filing year is considered 1 as a weightage, but previous year to that is considered 0.3. Sorry, 1.3, 1 by 3. So according, the sum should not be 182 days, otherwise you will be the tax resident. Then the individual income tax also depends upon the international treaties. The international treaties specifically, the kind of TDS we deduct in India. There is a withholding tax in US. So withholding tax highly dependent upon from which country you are and what kind of bilateral treaty or any kind of multilateral treaties we have with that particular country. So for example, if you are providing services in India, not connected to US, then there is 0% withholding tax applicable as per India-US bilateral treaty. Tax rates may be progressive or flat. It depends upon different jurisdictions, because in US, the taxation depends upon your federal, state, the local city or the county. So everybody can have their own mechanism. The community status, as discussed earlier, and your place of residence, because every state has different income tax rate, and some of the states are community property states, some of the states are not the community property state. So your tax filing status may depend upon your presence. There are income tax rate applicable to individual. It depends upon 10% to 37%. Earlier it was 39 point something, but now it is 37% peak rate. But that is for the very high income. 8 states in the US does not charge the state income tax. So the federal income tax will be applicable there, but state income tax will not be there. The popular states like Delaware, Wyoming, they have their own state income tax rates. For example, Delaware has up to 5.6% progressive tax rates. Wyoming has a flat 4% tax rate. Corporations, 21% federal income tax all across the country. States may have 0 to 10%, but presently there is a COVID surcharge also. So, for example, New Jersey has 10% income tax and 2.5% COVID surcharge. So at present, state income tax in one way, it is 12.5%, which is among the highest one. In India, there is a form with the income tax portal known as AIS, Annual Income Statement. So prior to that, there was something AS 26, I think. That form was there. It's still there, and AIS is also there, which is more comprehensive. So government collects information from the bank, from your employer, from the your landlord or your tenant, okay, and depends upon that they prepare your annual income statement, AIS. Similarly, in US, the government has different mechanism to collect the information. So, for example, every employer issues a W-2 for their employees, and if you are working as a contractor with them, then there will be 1099, okay? Or even if you have any kind of dividend or any kind of interest income, then also there is a 1099, but of the different category of the 1099. So whenever you are filing, these records must match with whatever the IRS input have. Otherwise, you can get queries from IRS. The good thing is IRS is very friendly with the taxpayers. So most of the time they communicate on the postal mail only. So once you get if you get any kind of postal communication that there is some issue or IRS requires certain clarification, your CPA can easily reply by post or may consider to explain in the call also. Sometimes it happens that if we have a US source income and because of tax treaties, the tax is not applicable. So people think that as there is no tax applicable, we should not file the income tax return, which is wrong. The benefits of tax treaty will be applicable only when you file the income tax return. If you don't file, you will not get to the treaty benefits. Besides this, IRS is very generous in terms of giving you enough time to file the returns. So for example, for tax disregarded entities, the income tax, or for the individuals also, the income tax return filing date is April 15 every year. If it is weekend, then it can be next working day, just like this year also. Even if you are having any kind of difficulty in filing up to April 15, you can file an extension and you can get easily 6 months time to file. So it means April to 6 months, you can file up to October 15. However, people should not take this as a gateway to delay their tax payment, because the extension is only for filing the returns, not for paying the taxes. You must pay the tax. However, you can delay the filing of return. In US, the fiscal year is usually January 1st to December 31st. Corporates can choose their own fiscal year also. So most of the time people have the default one only. But some of the corporates, specifically in Indian context, people may choose March also as a year end, because they want to have consistent system in India as well as in US. So that facility is there, and IRS is generous about this feature also. So there are certain forms. So forms 1099, there are several versions in the 1099. One is INT, which means interest income, DIV, dividend income, 1099B for the sale of shares. And similarly, there are many different versions of 1099. So it depends upon the type of income you will be getting. You need to procure 1099 accordingly. So in the beginning, I discussed the type of income sources. So here it will be applicable. You need to identify what is the type of income, and accordingly you need to get the required form from the source where you are getting that income. So if you have any withholding tax, then 1042S is applicable. Form W9. W9 is a form to share the information related to applicability of withholding tax. And W9 is only provided by the US residents, not by the aliens. However, in case of alien, you have another form, which is W8. It has multiple variations. So W8 band is for individuals having US income. If anybody who is giving you income, he may require withholding tax related information. So you need to provide W8 band. In case you are an organization, you are a company, you are a corporate, then you need to provide W8 band E. So W9 and W8 are like information returns. It's not like any filing with the IRS or Treasury or like that. Then there is a Form 1120. Form 1120 is for the C corporation. So any entity which has the C corp status, be it LLC or a corporation company, if you possess the C corp tax status, then you need to file 11/20, and last date for that is April 15th every year. Similarly, if you have a LLC or corporation with a partnership tax status, then up to March 15, you need to file the tax returns in the form 1165. 1040 again for individual and tax disregarded entities is April 15th. 5472 and 5471 are related to related party transactions. Here, IRS is very, very strict about these two forms. And most of the Indian entrepreneurs make this mistake. Let me again repeat you, the form 5472 and 5471, the IRS is very, very strict and they have zero tolerance about this. This is related to related party transactions. It is an information report related to RPT. And if you Google the penalty for 5472, the Google will show you in the very bold font, it's 25,000 US dollars. So most of the Indian entrepreneurs, what they do is they choose some online service provider who is filing the return in a very, very cheap rate. So what they will do is they will say, okay, I will file 1120 for you. If you want any other form, we will charge extra. And suppose you say, okay, I need only 1120. Then they will file only 1120 because they just want to compete based upon the cost. They will not guide you that there is a applicability of 5471 also. And 5472 anyway is applicable for every entrepreneur, be it LLC or corporation owned by foreigners. If it is owned by US citizen, then in case of LLC, 5472 may not be required. But in case of foreigners, it is mandatory. So whenever we file, we must consider 5472 and 5471 cases. Otherwise, it can give you a tough time. So here, IRS is not that generous. It's very strict about this. Okay. So some of the returns are known as information returns. Information returns like W2, 1099, these are not basically to considered as a tax filing because these are just to share the information that, okay, I paid this much amount to this person. Okay, as a salaried income or as a contractorship income, whatever it is, or as a dividend, as a active income or a passive income. So to record that, these returns are filed. So FBAR, I think there is a mistake in this slide. Excuse me for that. This is FABR return. It's FBAR. Okay. FBAR is basically foreign bank account reporting. So if your company in US have any foreign account, for example, you are being an Indian citizen, you may have identified that, okay, it's easy to deal with Indian account for my US company. Then you must file FBAR. The June 30th is the last date for this. However, you can file extension. But extension should be filed for anything and everything within the date. So June 30th is the date for FBAR. You must file the extension before that. Otherwise, there is a penalty of $10,000. And in case it's not considered as a civil, but the criminal one, then the penalty can be the 50%, up to 50% of peak balance in your account in entire year. So if you have your US company have the account in India or in any other country, please make sure you file this return. So payroll compliances, again, as I say earlier also, the FUTA compliances we need to make, Federal Unemployment Tax Act. So we need to have different kind of benefits under payroll compliances. There are broadly 4 different kind of compliance you need to have in the payroll. We will discuss here about the payroll taxes, because today's topic is related to taxation only. So payroll taxes is 15.3% total. Out of that, half is by employee and half is by employer. Whatever employee is paying, same need to be matched by the employer also. That will be paid as a payroll tax. There can be some additional taxes on employee or employer, which may need not to match with the employer contribution. One such is the Medicare tax, additional Medicare tax, which is 0.9%, and it's applicable only on income over $200,000. So people with the higher income range, people need to pay little higher. This is known as progressive tax regime. Now the sales tax. This is very interesting topic in US, because sales tax is considered as one of the most complex taxation in US. So businesses are supposed to compute the sales tax, collect the sales tax, pay the sales tax to the government, and file the returns for whatever tax you have collected and paid to the government. Fortunately, there is a Marketplace Act in which if some of our audience is selling on Amazon, for example, or any e-commerce marketplace, then the responsibility of computing the sales tax, collecting the sales tax and paying it to the government lies with marketplace, but return you need to file. Now the thing is, when I should collect the sales tax, at what rate I should collect the sales tax? That is a very big question. And that question, even most of the CPAs cannot answer. The reason is the applicability of sales tax is multifactorial. And it's a very complex criteria to evaluate. And the bad thing is, even this criteria is not consistent across the US. Every state has their own criteria for the sales tax. So for example, the sales tax depends upon 2 things: where the transaction is happening and what kind of nexus or connections you have with that particular jurisdiction. Now, when I say nexus, there are 3 different kinds of nexus. One is for the physical presence, another one is for economic activities, and third one is for the click-through nexus. So, if you have any physical presence in that particular state, then you need to collect the sales tax in that state. Now, what is the definition of physical presence? I may have the office over there. I may have the warehouse over there. or maybe my employee is working from home in that particular state? No. The nexus for physical presence is not that simple. Sometimes some of the states says, even if your founder is operating from, one of the founders is operating from my state, it's a physical presence. California is such a state. New Jersey says, if you are from some other state, but you are delivering the goods through the third-party trucks, it's not a physical presence. But if you are delivering the goods through your own vehicle, it's a physical presence. Similarly, there may be n number of other criteria. For example, if you have participated in exhibitions in that particular state for more than 7 days, or maybe you have the bank account in that particular state, or maybe you have some special license for that particular state. So all these can be considered in the nexus for physical presence, and that need to be identified what is the nexus and how it is applicable in your custom case in a particular given state. Then there is another one is the economic activity. So economic activity also can be gauged in different ways. Some of the states consider like what is the level of economic activity you are doing, maybe 100,000 in a year or maybe $200,000 in a year. Or some of the states can say, okay, you are making 200 transactions. So it's the meeting the nexus. So maybe if you are a Amazon seller, 200 transactions is not a very, very big deal for you. Okay. So basically it depends upon state, how they define the physical presence nexus, how they define the economic activity nexus, economic nexus, and then there are certain other nexus like the click-through for online service, online advertising. If you are focusing on particular state, it means you are trying to have revenue from that state, and you need to apply pay the sales tax in that particular state. So use tax I have already explained related to sales tax only, and this is something which is very complex subject for particularly even for the US CPA, and most of the time US CPAs are also very confused about this subject. And people, they say, okay, if you want to register sales tax in particular state, we will register for you. But we will not say it is applicable for you or not. So it's that complex, and careful professional advice from the competent consultant is required in case of sales tax. Transfer pricing, my friend Mr. Udit Gupta, he was generous enough to provide all the information in very simple language about the transfer pricing. And he is a global expert of transfer pricing. So if you have any queries related to transfer pricing, you can, fill the support request form and let us know. If you require any support from us, you require any information, any one-on-one call discussion, you can fill the support request form that can be shared by the host. The URL can be shared by the host, and you can fill the form to seek the support request. We can help you in not only US, in USA, UK, Canada, UAE, Mauritius, Thailand, etc. We can help you not only in tax filing, but the tax optimization. Filing is not something very big subject. The main subject is how you optimize your tax. So we can help in that. And optimization of tax should not be left only on the return filing. It should begin as soon as possible, as early as possible, even before you incorporate a company, the tax planning starts. So it's not too early. In case you want to plan your tax, you can consult with us. And most of the Indian people who have the company in US, their place of effective management is India. At lower revenue level, people might not be, agencies might not be considering this, but definitely it may be a non-compliance. So you people can discuss about us. What are the applicability of laws in your case? We'll be more than happy to inform you. Okay. In case of any alliance partnership, my friend Shaurya Satyarthi can be. Shaurya, are you available in this call? Hello? Okay, I think he's not available. So Shaurya Satyarthi can be contacted on the given information. And in case of any other matter, you can contact me. My information is also there in this visiting card. And I hope you find this session well informative, productive. In case of any queries, you can ask. We have limited time, so maybe 1 or 2 queries we can take. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anil. Thank you. Now, our third speaker is Ms. Shweta Verma, Senior BDM, B2B Goods, and she will be sharing her valuable insights on the topic Pioneer Making International Payments Seamless for Indian Exporters. Over to you, Ms. Shweta.
Thank you, Ananya. I'll just fire up my screen. Thank you, Anil sir. It was a very informative session. Ananya, do let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, I will. Yes, it's visible, Ms. Shweta.
All right. So how I'll be aligning this session is I'll be talking about what Pioneer is and what problems are faced by the exporters in India in terms of payments and how we are helping them solve these issues. So we are a US-based company. We are a Nasdaq listed company and we are present in almost all the major countries. With majority of the marketplaces, we work exclusively with marketplaces like eBay. We support 70+ languages, which means that if you are receiving payments or if you are sending payments to a country where which is not of your native language, you would still be getting supports. We have 4 million monthly customers who receive payments from us. We are listed again in all the major countries. We are also listed in India and we are approved by the RBI. So moving on to the issues that are faced by the exporters in India and how we solve them. So this slide tells you how the payment is processed, the payment flow. So once the customer makes a payment using, say, a debit card or a credit card, the payment is routed. And this is something where a transaction or a switch fee is charged. And this is a time-taking process. The next step comes in the approval, where a payment, where a customer or a merchant has no visibility as to if the payment is approved or not, and if it is not approved, where it is stuck. There are also issues with settlements. It could be a time-taking process. There could be certain hidden charges apart from what has been proposed to the merchant. And then the last leg comes where the issuance of FIRC happens. for any of the exporters who have made a payment, right? So generally in India, FIRC is a manual document where you need to go to the bank, pay some 200 to 500 rupees and get the FIRC for the BRC to be issued. And this is where we come into picture. So our solution for exporters in India is, our approach is completely digital first. We are a tech platform, a fintech company, right? So what we do is we issue a local bank account. What this means is that if you see on your screen, say you are an exporter who's exporting in a country like a US or a Canada, you'd be getting a local bank account in that particular country in the local currency. How this helps is the importer or the customer who's paying you will be paying to you as they are paying to their local account. This also negates the possibility of the extra $12 to $40 that they'll be paying when they are paying to an Indian bank account via their US account. The screenshot that you see here is of the account that looks as that is on your dashboard in the Payoneer account or your personal account. So you'll be seeing all the currencies which have been issued to you. We work with major 9 currencies. You will be seeing all the bank accounts. And this is how on the left-hand side, you'll see the bank name, routing number, account number, etc. You can give this to your importer. The person can add this as a beneficiary the way they add other bank accounts and make the payments. Now, how this is helpful? One, you have a dedicated customer support. In terms of local wire transfers or bank wire transfer, there are no dedicated supports. There's no transparency when it comes to fees. You might be charged one fee today, something other hidden fee could be charged tomorrow. The settlement time could take long. With Payoneer, with the global bank account, you have a dedicated support, you have a transparent fee. Whatever fee is levied to you today would be the same that would be levied to you tomorrow, irrespective of what your transaction size or the ticket size is. You would have faster settlements. There are no risk of currency fluctuation. So say if today 80 rupees is for $1, tomorrow if there is say 85 rupees for $1, you know there's no hidden charges in this. The last bit that you get with Payoneer is the dedicated digital FIRC that could be downloaded from your own dashboard. So you do not have to go to the bank, pay a certain amount and get the FIRC. You get it from the click of your laptop. The second solution that we have is something called a payment link. What this means is that you can send a payment link via your dashboard sitting at your office to your importer. The person receives the link, can click on the link and make the payment. They do not even have to be a Payoneer customer for it. What you see on the right of your screen is how it looks on the dashboard. So you know what the person has used to make the payment, whether it is credit card or if it is a local bank transfer. You know when it was paid, and you also confirm whether or not the payment has been received. This is again from your dashboard, no need to go out. And how this is better, or how this adds a value to your existing payment method, is again a customer support. We are 3D secure PCI DSS compliant company. We support all the major cards, which are your Amex, MasterCard, Visa. For this, as well as it's an international payment, you get a digital FIRC again on your dashboard, can be downloaded. You can submit this in your bank to get the BRC back, just to negate the auto equalize the transaction. And the person or the customer can use again credit card, debit card, or the direct bank transfer. The next slide, it talks about the FIRC or how it looks when it is issued. So this is how the FIRC looks. We issue it via Citi and Deutsche Bank. Again, this would be an automated FIRC without any cost. This could be downloaded via your dashboard, can be submitted to the bank for clearing of transaction, issuing of BRC. It was a short presentation. This is what we have in gist. If you have any questions, I'm open to it. Or you can send me a mail or touch base with me via Dr. Anil as well. Ananya, that's about it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ms. Shweta. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next topic for this session is government vision to promote the cross-border trade. And we have two speakers who will be sharing their valuable insights on the above topic. So I'd like to call our first speaker, Mr. R. Gopinath Rao, Deputy Director, MSME Development.
He's not joined now because we are running a little early. So you can call Ashwini sir.
Okay, I'll just. So the speaker for the same topic is Mr. Ashwini Kumar. I would like to call him first. Chairman, North Region, Federation of Indian Export Organization. Over to you, Mr. Ashwini.
Thank you very much, Nanya.
Welcome, sir.
I must correct myself that I was chairman till September 2022. Now I'm Federation of Indian Managing Committee member.
Okay.
So this is my new elected post. And I would like to share my views about India's this cross-border trade. As we are already discussing this matter since very long, and our Honourable Prime Minister is very serious about it, to have this cross-border trade. And you see, with the past, we have done FTAs with Australia, and we are doing more and more FTAs with all the countries, and all because to promote the cross-border trade from India. And I am very happy to tell you that with this, India's position today is India was ranking 78.9% in 2019, and today India is ranking 90.32 in 2021. And I have not got the data of 22-23. Sure, we are increasing every year our data. The main aim of cross-border trade, to promote cross-border trade, is to get the recognition of especially the MSMEs. You see, we have, during my tenure, I was working in Uttar Pradesh, I was working in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and we have seen that the government of India, especially with the leadership of Honourable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, that the GI products, this is geographical indicated products, which has got a very big boost, and the ease of doing business, or the customs facilitation for the small companies is increased a lot. The Indian government, Indian customs are really supporting for the export of GI products, or the small micro, all the products which are produced by the micro industry. Like Madam Shweta just said, that they are supporting Indian exporters for the payments. And of course, we are going to have another session with Madam on 31st in Fio. Now, the big India has big notification notified progress in ease of cross-border trade under a UN survey that they tracked 143 economies on the key trade facilitation, which facilitation parameters over a 2 years of period, and India has got a very renowned results on this. You see, now you see very simple that Amazon, Microsoft, Amazon and Flipkart and all these big companies, they have facilitated the imports all over the world, any country, you need any product from any country, and the Amazon is helping a lot, and which is I think today's most seller product. If I need anything from China, I can buy it on Amazon or the sites like Amazon. The best part is from India, the cross-border trade has increased in Europe, which is especially the products like jewelry and home and garden, this mass merchants, there's a food and drinks, and Ayurveda has done a lot in cross-border trade with our new program. As we know, the benefits of cross-border trade. I give you example that Europe was united in 2001 around, and now they had no problem of customs, no problem of ease of doing business with each country, and one visa we can travel all over. This is the way we have to. The government is trying to create more and more trade opportunities with the SAARC countries, with the Southeast Asia, and a lot of FTAs are on the way. We will see in very near future with the great efforts of our Prime Minister, we will see that things will be getting very, very easy for working under FTAs. We also import, we also export. And in pandemic, this cross-border trade has done wonderful job. And as we see, India is a growing economy today, sure. And we are not less than any other country. Today, the Europeans are interested to work in India. And we see all the states in India, they are inviting global business meets, which shows that all the neighboring countries and the countries like US, like countries from Europe, exporters from Europe, importers from Europe, are really keen to work in India. And we are not far away from 5 trillion economy. And I'm sure with the efforts, where the dedication is there, and the way the roadmap is there, we will certainly be #1 country in the world very shortly. And our survey, the surveys are coming as a boost to the policymakers in India, that they are trying to improve the attractiveness as a business destination and to capture a larger pie of global supply chain in goods and services. Boosting cross-border trade is a key element of the past pandemic economy, which is a recovered strategy of many nations. And with this, I say my thanks to the CII MSMEs to invite me on the cross-border. Thank you very much, Ananya.
Thank you, sir. Now we will start with our fireside chat with Dr. Anil Gupta and Dr. Sundaram Rajgopal. I will ask few questions regarding the above topic. Whoever wants to answer between two of them can proceed. And the first question is, India is a self-reliant 1.3 billion country. Why one should go cross-border?
Okay, great. So, Dr. Sundaram?
Yes, Dr. Anil.
Can you allow me to answer this?
Absolutely, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for being so generous.
Yes, sir. Yes. All yours. All yours.
Okay. So
the entire audience is very eagerly waiting for your answer. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. See, basically, India is 1.3 billion strong country. Half of the, what I say, the 1/6 of the population is in India. It's all true. But you need to consider two different perspectives. Indian GDP is little over 3 trillion. World GDP is 81 trillion. So still there is a lot we can do in entire world. Second aspect is, it's not always we are looking for the foreign markets when we expand foreign countries. We need to understand what kind of advantage we are trying to unleash when we are trying to go outside India. Let me give you an example. US companies or many of the other countries, IT company come to India. They are not coming here to serve Indian market. They are coming here to make them competitive by optimizing the cost, by ensuring the availability of the skills to serve in their own market. So they are coming cross-border because to gain the competitive edge in their own existing market. Similarly, we need to understand when we are going to the other country, we are going there to serve a new geography, or we want to have certain advantage of innovation in that particular country, or availability of the raw material, or the skills, or the cost advantage, like the China is factory for the world. So we need to understand why we are going cross-border. Okay, that is one thing. Second, so these two considerations, one is the market size available when you are going cross-border, and second one is being competitive in your own existing market. Third one is stabilization of demand. For example, the demonetization happened on 8th of November, just after Diwali. Considering Diwali is the time when most of the economic activities happen. So after that, market is slow. So for example, you want to buy the new clothes, you want to buy the new mobile or laptop. There are online sales, plenty of online sales happens before that, and there are plenty of visits to the market happens. And after Diwali, there is no demand, right? So if you serve in different geographies, you can enjoy 12 Diwalis in 12 different months. So just after Diwali, you can start processing for the Christmas. So why to wait for the next Diwali? So for example, you have a capacity of producing say 1,000 units of a particular goods. So either you are doing that, you are not able to meet the Diwali demand and you are not able to serve the entire market to in existing market, or you have the capacity but you are not utilizing because now there is no demand. So by going the cross border, you are better planning your capacity, you are diversifying your market, so better risk management, you are trying to learn from different markets, so better keeping pace with the market. So in this way, it will going to help in multiple ways. So it's not only that India is the market of $3.5 trillion. Of course, India is growing. India is growing at a very decent rates. But yet, world is not that small. Out of $81 kitty, $81 trillion kitty, India deserves more. And to gain this deserve more, are economic soldiers. To entrepreneurs, I say economic soldiers. These need to conquer the world. And then only the India can develop at a faster pace. So just like the soldiers on the borders, those are just for the defense, and economic soldiers are the entire powerhouse. So we need to ensure that we are taking care about markets across the geographies, and we are trying to benefit our businesses by unleashing all the advantages available in different markets. I hope the question is answered.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rajgopal, sir, would you like to share your perspective as well?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ananya. Wonderfully answered, Dr. Gupta. I completely agree with you. I can't agree with you any more than this. You have completely answered whatever the questions was. And I would like to just add one point here. The globalizing of your business doesn't always mean that you are searching for the new market. In fact, if you look at the whole perspective, IT companies from around the world come to India to achieve their competitive edge. You know why? That is because of the knowledge bank that India has, the great and vast knowledge bank India has. And in order to take the advantage, so it is a bilateral. When we are looking at globalizing the business, it is not just selling and gaining the revenue. You may gain revenue elsewhere, but actually you are producing somewhere else. And that is where, you know, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi has devised this idea of manufacturing in India and manufacture for the world, you know. So that is where it is. You know, we have a great competitive advantage in India through the skill sets, knowledge base, skill base, and above all, you know, the integrity base. So the India is identified as one particular point in the world, in the global front, which has got a great level of integrity, you know. So that is where we score a lot. And Indian businesses must go around the globe to know the kind of innovation happening so that we can exist in this competitive world. We can actually take advantage of current market scenario, the global scenario, the global trends and everything, adopt those things, implement those things in either in terms of manufacturing here and supplying to the world, or identify the cheaper sources, source from there and then sell it to the world. So the India should become a global hub, you know, overall, if you look at it. So towards that, if we are working, and that is what Gupta ji also explained, that we had a lot of advantages. So we need to understand what are our strengths, and then relate them to our goals and then move forward. So this is what I would like to add to whatever Dr. Gupta ji said.
Thank you so much.
And here I would like to,
yeah.
Sorry, I would like to add one more thing with the
Yes.
Dr. Sundaram, what he mentioned about the Prime Minister's vision, make in India, make for the world. And I will add one more thing here, trade around the globe. Make in India, make for the world, and trade around the globe. So that is the vision of Connect Ventures.
Absolutely. And, you know, that is where, in fact, Connect Venture is also laying a platform to assist the aspirant entrepreneurs in India to set up their world, go global, wherever they want to set up an office or anything. We are here to help them to set up their offshore companies in different parts of the world. And also Connect Ventures is assisting the people in carrying out their compliances, which will probably come in the next session or whatever.
Thank you for your answers. And my next question is this the right time to expand the businesses across the borders when world is scared of recession and adopting cautious approaches? So kindly share your perspective. I will ask both of them to share their perspective.
So,
yeah, Dr. Saab, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being so generous. Again, second time you've given me opportunity. Okay. So basically, let me ask the audience a question. Why Krishna has affinity with the Radha? Now this seems something very weird what I'm asking.
Yeah. It is like asking why Anil Gupta has affinity towards Bhavna Gupta. Sorry.
No, I am not a celebrity. Okay. So, so basically, see, Radha is opposite to Dhara. Dhara means current. The current is usually flow. For example, if you talk about the electric current, it flows from higher potential to the lower potential. If it is the air current, it flows from higher pressure to the lower pressure. If it is a physical goods, it flows from higher altitude to lower altitude. For example, the water. However, if you are really intellectual in the real sense, you need to revert the Dhara and become Radha. In other words, Gita says कि एक intellectual person, he awakes when other people are sleeping or vice versa. The similar version, in other words, Warren Buffett says that when world is greedy, you need to be cautious. When world is cautious, you need to be greedy. Same way, I will say, world might be fearing the recession, but here is the opportunity, because people are much interested to explore the new avenues. People are interested to know the new possibilities, how they can save the cost, how they can be, gaining the competitive edge. So you can collaborate with foreign people. Let me tell you, in entire world, due to Russia-Ukraine war, the world is fearing the economy recession, right? But the India has taken the advantage of that. So the Modi's vision is not the Dhara, it's the Radha.
Okay.
He actually converted this crisis into the opportunity. And believe me, India is not facing recession. India is growing because of the cheaper petrol. Because petrol is something which is required for all the logistics, for any physical goods. If this petrol could be at the rupees 150 per liter, we could also have faced the recession. But our Honorable Prime Minister has taken this crisis as an opportunity. He taken the cheaper petrol. That's why inflation in India is in the control. So similarly, the world may have certain fear about the recession. There is no recession at all at this time. The economies are growing at a slower pace, not the recession. Recession means something negative growth. However, this is the time when people are trying to understand where I can save the cost. Is there anything which can help me to ensure that I have the competitive edge? So if the Indian entrepreneurs try to explore the new avenues, then definitely they will get a red carpet welcome, because in almost everything we possess the cost advantage. Besides this, from the political leadership, we have friendly ties with almost entire world except to a few countries. And world has seen India as a knowledge capital. Let me tell you one example where how the world is welcoming Indian entrepreneurs. Just before the corona, the COVID-19, the Amazon US was trying to understand what kind of products we are sourcing from India. And they found the total e-commerce export of India is less than $2 billion US. And they identified, no, this is not something which we can expect from India. So we should have 10 billion target. 10 billion we will sell only on the Amazon. Other platform can be also adding to this. And they started working on this. And then they identified, oh, we are stupid people. India has even more potential. So now they revised the target to 20 billion. So this is the way the world is expecting that, okay, the e-commerce sellers from India, they should come and join Amazon as a seller and help them to sell more and more on different platforms across the world. For example, Amazon US or UK, whatever. Similarly, Walmart has recently had a tie-up with the MP government to source from MP. So you can understand these are the opportunity where the market is giving us a red carpet welcome. And this is the right time when Indian retail entrepreneur, I will say, the small entrepreneur, micro entrepreneur, they can also dream about doing business in the foreign country. There was a time when only the wholesale export was in existence. If I need to export something, I need to have demand for a container load. I need to find a buyer to buy such a huge quantity. I need to have money to source that kind of volume of the goods. But today, the world is seeing a revolution. There are, usually people say there are 4 industrial revolutions, but I consider 6 revolutions. In the 6 industrial revolution and 2 trade revolution. Okay. So one is the wholesale export, but now the next revolution is the retail export. So Indian people can take the advantage of retail export. Believe me, when you are trying to unleash these waves, it can be imagination, maybe beyond your imagination, the kind of benefits you can get. You can understand when Britishers were invented the spinning jenny, it was starting of a mechanical revolution. And they conquered the entire world. Then US taken the lead in the electrical revolution. He became the superpower. In electronics, Japan took the lead. A small country, naturally deprived, no fertile land, every time earthquakes, and on top of that, there is a nuclear bomb. Still, it became the world's largest economy. So it is the right time when there is a wave in the export, in the trade, and there is a wave in the industry also. So irrespective, you are exporting the wholesale goods or you are a tech company. There is an industrial revolution where AI, nanotechnology, IoT, and AR/VR combined, these will transform the life. And the evolution of 5G internet is already helping in that. So this is the right time for Indian entrepreneurs to plan your globalization strategy as a business coach for the cross-border expansion. I always try to motivate the entrepreneurs to plan your globalization strategy. Maybe you are not doing everything in one go, but things should be in your plan. And accordingly, what kind of advantage you want to unleash, what kind of capabilities you have, based upon that, we can think about you need to have presence in US or UK or in the Gulf countries or whatever it is. So, but you must think about going cross-border. That is my opinion. Maybe Dr. Sundaram can add something.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Saab. I completely agree with you. And what I also appreciate from whatever you said so far is that amidst the adversity is where you find an opportunity, or the biggest opportunities arise only during the crisis and adversity. So this is what all the greatest global leaders and thinkers have always advocated. And recently, if you see a little before the Russian war, if you see, there was a pandemic, right? So during the pandemic was the global biggest adversity. And during that biggest adversity and challenge, wherein the whole world was predicting that half the Indian population will be wiped out and all these kind of things, that is when, you know, the Indian scientists have really gathered their skills and capabilities and courageous and commitment together, and then they are the first the pioneers who have come up with the vaccine. And India was the country which has completed the complete population the vaccination process, you know. So that is where, you know, during the greatest adversity, our India has really come up with found an opportunity and come up with the vaccination. And not just they have completed the vaccination administration to the national population, they have also demonstrated their human angle by giving free supply to many needy countries this vaccination, and they immunized those needy people also. And they have also been, and through this effort, they are in the process of becoming the global pharmacy headquarters. So this is what, you know, the adversity has given to our country. And our country has the greatest capability, greatest depth, greatest commitment. You know, the people who have been always innovative and creative thinking, and all these kind of things are really coming forward. So even if there is a recession coming up elsewhere, we need not be worried too much. We need to be, you know, as an Indian or as a human being, we always look at from the creative thinking perspective, and then come up with or identify the opportunities these adversities and crises give us, and then come up with the solution to serve those crises and come out of those crises. And that is how the opportunities present to us. And I always, I am also a firm believer that adversities or the greatest opportunities present themselves to us in the form of an adversity. So whenever without adversity, nobody has become great in this on this planet Earth so far. So if there is an adversity, there is a definite big opportunity for each one of us. Rather than becoming a little cautious or demotivated with the upcoming crisis or adversity, we should be hopeful and courageous that yes, there is an opportunity here during this adversity and we will win over. So that is the approach we need to adopt.
Thank you so much, sir, for your views. And my next question is, the world is transforming and India must take advantages of it. What do you say about this transformation and how it brings the opportunities?
Yes, Dr. Saab, I think I just spoke about this one. I didn't know that this question is coming, so you can continue.
Okay, so yes, I think we discussed some of the information related to this question already, but if you have come up with this question, definitely I will be more than happy to share more information about this. So basically, if you see that world has seen a lot of transformation in last 200 years. If you think, if you compare yourself with Akbar, for example, you have more privileges than the Akbar. Because you may enjoy the AC, Akbar was not having that air conditioner. In last 200 years, before spinning jenny, people were not thinking about that, okay, the lifeless machineries can work for us. And then there was a transformation where people were thinking that, okay, it can be possible that through the wires there will be certain energy flowing and it's not visible to us. If you go 200 years back, people could consider the stupid that how it can be possible. I will just switch on and the light will be on. There should be certain matchsticks where I can lit the light, isn't it?
Right.
So similarly, if you see after the electrical wave, again the electronics time came, and you know, to trip a 1 gigawatt power plant, a 1.5 volt battery can be sufficient to trip the 1 gigawatt plant. So people may not have understood, is it possible before the technical wave? Then IT came, so you can have the instant communication, you can have a lot of analytics. Now it is the time when the AI is going to influence a lot of things, a lot of activities we are doing in the world. For example, there is a technology, Chat GPT. You can ask him to write a poem. You just give a word of, like for example, you give the word mother, love, affinity to our son, and it will write a poem for you. So no need to have a poet. Okay. So AI is helping a lot to transform the world. Similar to AI, there will be a data science, IoT, nanotechnology, AR, VR. Combine these things will transform the world beyond your imagination, what you have imagined today. Because when computers came, people were not considering them a very, very efficient machines to influence a life like this. In fact, there was a common opinion that computers are good enough only like a golden night. It can work only one day and then it will not work. You need to again repair something, because out of the thousands of the machines, something will be malfunctioning and you need to fix again. But today, with the computer technology, our life has evolved in a way that we people sitting at different places are talking to each other just because of these technologies. So similarly, these 5 technologies, emerging technologies, will be transforming the world. The AR, VR will help you in multiple ways. So, for example, today you need to go to the classroom. Tomorrow might be you can simulate the classroom at your home only, individually. and you might see the people, teachers teaching in the class, but actually she is also at the home. So there can be multiple ways by these emerging technologies, how these can affect. That innovators need to understand where is the room for innovation using these 5 technology. And one more thing is 5G communication technology, internet technology. Using these things, how we can innovate, how we can serve the people in better ways. For example, today your GPS has 2-3 dimensions only. One is time, shortest path. Only these 2 options you can choose. But tomorrow you can have even more comprehensive GPS, where you can say, I am an asthmatic patient and I need to go through the the lowest pollution roadmap. So that kind of innovation can be there. So I need to go by the bicycle. So I need to understand on which path air resistance will be minimum. So your GPS can be tuned for that. So what I'm saying is, using these 5 technologies, try to understand your possibility for innovation using 5 different technologies. And these technologies may have a lot of room to significantly improve the life of human being, the mankind. In fact, there was a philosopher who declared that in the year 2100, the human will be slave of machines, because most of the coding part also will be done by the machine itself. So the coder who coded those machines, they will leave the coding, and now the machines are powerful, and other people will forget how to code. They will not know how to code and how to control these machines. So machines in year 2100, machines may have taken the lead over the human. So that kind of transformation world may expect. Okay, another revolution is the trade. Trade revolution, retail export is possible. Third is change in the geopolitical arena in the world. Earlier, India were used to considered as a poor country. Okay, India were considered as a, for example, okay, for labor class job, for a technician job, a semi-skilled job, you can have the Indians. Okay, later on it came that, okay, if you require IT professionals, India is a very good source. And then a time came when CEOs of the corporates were Indian and are Indians now also. Now it is a time when prime ministers or the ministers or the deputy presidents of the nations are Indians, of the Indian origin, basically. India is emerging as a global power, and it will help you a lot in international trade. Earlier, you used to have only trade in US dollars. Now, because we are emerging as a power, our leadership is visionary. They have started trading in Indian rupees also. So it created a lot of opportunity for Indian entrepreneurs, because Iran cannot deal in US dollars. So Indian entrepreneurs have the opportunity. They can serve that market. The Russian market can be served. Egyptian market can be served. Sri Lankan market can be served, because of we are able to deal in Indian rupees. So that is the kind of transformation happening in geopolitical world. So that's why I say the world is transforming. the Indian entrepreneurs need to understand the technological transformation, the geopolitical transformation, the trade and business transformation, and collectively take the advantage of all this transformation to boost your business and unleash this wave of transformation. That is my say on this.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
So my next question will be, your organization has a global network of professions of diverse businesses with enviable track record. How much of hand-holding and knowledge transfer does your organization does, and the alliances offered to the Indian entrepreneurs while embarking on the cross-border business pursuit?
Great. So, Dr. Sundaram, can I take the liberty
Please, sir.
to answer
Please.
this? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are the most qualified person on this platform to answer that.
So nice of you, sir. So nice of you. You are being, one of the top 25 business leaders of Oman.
Right, sir.
And that is consistently recorded by Omanian government. It's not once.
Yeah,
Okay.
it happened. It
And
happened.
you are saying this. So I'm really humbled with your, generosity.
It happened five times successfully, sir. Only 5 times, not many times.
Okay.
5 years.
So
in
5
success.
times. 5 times being in top 25 or top 50 or top 10 kind of, it's really amazing things. And still you are so down to earth, you are so humble that you are giving chance me to answer first. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure. And I am humbled also. Thank you so much.
So basically, Connect Ventures works on 5 C's: the coaching, consulting, connecting, collaborations, and co-creation. So we help entrepreneurs to coach them how they can take advantage of the global developments, where the opportunity lies for your kind of business, what kind of entry modes you can have. So for example, there can be huge cultural difference or language barriers within one country. So it's better, rather than having manufacturing over there, you can have franchise system in that country. So you just export from here and franchisees can sell over there. So these are known as entry modes. So, or maybe you can own your own retail center, or you can have some supply chain system in that country. So what kind of entry mode you can have? So these kind of things, we coach them to take the best advantage of the globalization roadmap. Then it comes to the actions. So when it comes to the actions, we help them to set up their company. So set up their legal entity in that particular geography, considering various aspects. The aspects like how easy it is to do the business in that particular geography, what kind of cost of compliances I will have to bear, what kind of cost of taxation will be there, what kind of advantage I will be taking out of that particular type of legal entity or particular place of legal entity. So considering all these aspects, we structure, we suggest the structuring, and then we incorporate that particular entity as per the client decision. Then we manage the compliance for those entities in the overseas countries. So usually we don't deal in the Indian domestic compliances, except some of the compliances which are related to the cross-border businesses. For example, transfer pricing. The Mr. Udit from ICI Canada, he conveyed about the transfer pricing. So we help in transfer pricing. We help in FEMA, okay, but not the compliance for domestic business like GST or like that kind of things. We don't deal in that. So, but we take care about the compliance of US, for example. So if you have a company in US, we will take care every compliance in the US and some of the Indian compliance related to cross-border. So this is the single window system where we can help them each compliance related to his US presence. The advantage Connect Ventures offers is we know the compliance required in the foreign country, and we know where are the touch points in the India. Many times it may happen like US CPA is saying something else and Indian CA saying something else. And entrepreneurs may feel sandwiched between these two. But with the Connect Ventures, you get that advantage that people at Connect Ventures know what kind of challenges may be there for Indian entrepreneurs, and we have the solution for that. So that is the advantage we offer in the consulting services. Then there is a connecting and collaboration. So for example, Mr. Udit Gupta is from ICAI Canada. We are working with lot of entrepreneurs, lot of professionals, lot of trade bodies, lot of chamber of commerces. So lot of chambers across the globe to foster the connections and collaborations. So we are trying to, connect the doors to offer you the entire picture of your globalization roadmap. So in this way, Connect Ventures is helping in the 5 C's: coaching, consulting, connecting, collaboration, and co-creation. For the 6th C, which is known as the collective growth. Okay. So we help them in finding foreign representative. For example, if you want to have any local representative in US or in Canada or in UAE, we can help in that. We can help you to connect to the Chamber of Commerce. If you require anything, any knowledge related to that particular geography, we can help you to find a partner in other countries, investors from other countries, like that. I hope I answered sufficiently. If anything else you want to ask specific, I will be more than happy to share.
Yeah, I would like to just add to Guptaji's 6 C's with my 7th C, which is the comment. Okay. Comment on the 6th C, 6 C's. As per the explanation by Dr. Anil Gupta has very clearly explained that we will be at Connect Ventures, or the Connect Ventures offers the services, various services from the inception stage itself, by the way of formation, assisting you in the formation of overseas company or offshore company, setting up your bank accounts and all licenses or whatever it is, all these kind of things, whereby all your the anxieties of unknowns are taken care by the people who have the know-how. The question itself had the first point wherein Connect Ventures has a vast number of professionals from different fields of work with enviable track record. That's what Ananya said. So with that kind of a background, Connect Ventures is in the position to offer you all these kind of services, and thereby which removes all your worries or inhibitions to start your businesses with, and you just focus on your strength or your know-how. What is that known fact is that what service or business or the product that you are wanting to give to the world. So you focus only on that one, and the rest of the things you just upload to Gupta Sahab, and Gupta Sahab will be more than happy to deliver all those things to you So this is what it is. When he has taken care of majority of your anxieties, all you need to do is rejoice and do your business and be happy and progress and contribute towards the cherished goal of $5 trillion India. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. And my next question is, what way your organization can help the aspiring entrepreneurs in setting up offshore companies, and which countries? Will your organization also help in marketing efforts of the aspiring export business entrepreneurs?
Okay, great. So basically, we help right from coaching to understand what is the cross-border business, what are the challenges, what are the risks, how to combat those risks, how to take advantage of globalization, how to really transform your roadmap into the action map. So we coach them in the best possible manner. Then we help them in setting up their legal entity, guiding them about to the compliance part to time. So we take care about to all the compliances, and then we help them in finding certain local person or local entity in getting any kind of support from that particular geography. So some kind of partnership arrangement or some collaborative arrangement, if you want to have, we can help in those strategic partnership kind of arrangement as well. So we help from coaching to co-creation, everything. Dr. Sundaram?
या तो आपका बोलने का ये मतलब है आपका पैसा आप ही को गिनना होगा, हम नहीं गिनेंगे आपके पैसे।
पैसे आपको गिनने होंगे,
आप ही को गिनने होंगे।
We are empowering you to collect the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Let's move ahead, please.
Okay.
So I will say insight to 3 I's: insight, information, and intelligence. We will share with you, and you need to utilize those 3 I's and collect the money, earn the money in most compliant way. That is our goal.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers. And my next question is, can we have one-on-one session for the aspiring entrepreneurs to understand the process and procedures and cost to set up the offshore company and the compliance activities?
Yes,
I think yes.
There can be one-on-one session. If there is any requirement to, then the audience can fill that support request form, and we will be more than happy to share all the information, and whatever kind of information they require, if it comes in our scope, we will be more than happy to share with them. And if they are in some dilemma about any decision making, if they want to explore the new possibilities, if they want to collaborate with somebody, we can help in all these things, no doubt. And just they need to fill out the form, and we will be more than happy to arrange a call back.
Okay, thank you so much. And the next question is there any specific word or caution or guidance for the first generation entrepreneur aspiring to expand wings globally?
Well, Gupta sir,
Yes, sir.
in fact, I would like to just initiate this particular answer to this particular question, from a different perspective altogether. As Connect Venture chairman, you may have a perspective, but, I would like to take this question from the perspective of the aspiring entrepreneurs, so particularly first generation entrepreneurs. when the first, I have interacted with a few during the events of Connect Ventures and other units also. The first generation entrepreneurs generally, they are all aspirants to become successful business people and business heads and all these business houses. But many of them don't seem to have the know-how or what is that they have in them to be successful. First you need to identify yourself that you have something within you or with you, a product or a service or something. You have a known matter which you can sell, and you also need to know who is your target audience. First generation entrepreneurs, many of the times they are confused. They don't know what they have. They don't know whom they want to sell. They don't know what they want to sell, but they want to become successful business people. So such kind of people are very, very dangerous, not only to themselves, also to the market. So you need to be first aware of what is that. First identify that. What is that you want to offer to this world? When you know that, you have that known. And you also identify whom you want to sell that product. Then you have that known, whom is that one. Then you will have a set of unknowns. What you have to do, how you have to do, what is the compliance. All those unknowns you just offload to Anil Gupta. Anil Gupta will take care of all those things. Dr. Saab is there. He will take care of all those unknowns. But you deal with your known and with your other known. That is to your known, your clients. So when you are focusing on that one, that is where you will become successful. If you don't know what you want to sell, if you don't know, please don't venture into that. First identify. You spend your time, energy, money, and everything in identifying what is your strength, what is that you have got to offer to the market. And after you have established yourself firmly in your mind and heart that yes, I have something very, very strong, and with this substantially I can move forward into the market. When you have that one, then you come into the market. I think that is the biggest danger of first generation entrepreneurs. They come out with not knowing anything. That is very, very dangerous. So this is the word of caution I would like to give. Gupta Sahab may want to give some other advice from his perspective.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so my perspective is that in order to give a Sanjeevani Booty to entrepreneur in yourself, you need to be Hanuman.
Okay.
And Hanumanji is basically a symbol of self-confidence. Okay. So I believe that unless you have the self-confidence, you cannot have the entrepreneurship mindset. So first generation entrepreneur, if something you say, nahi yaar, isme to this is the problem, that is the problem, then you cannot be a successful entrepreneur. You need to understand this is the problem and this is the solution. And because I have the solution for this problem, other people don't, there is the opportunity. If you don't find any solution and for any problem, then it means everyone can do it. And if everyone can do it, you will not find the margin, because there will be lot many people doing that job. So first of all, try to understand where the problem exists. You need to hunt for the problem rather than getting away from the problems. You find the problems, those will be entry barrier for the other people. You try to cross those barriers and the door of the opportunity will open. Second thing I would like to say is identify your customer very properly. So usually I ask people, what is your target customer? They say, okay, anybody from 18 to 60 years is my target. This is not the way. I have specifically written a paper on this 5D discovery. So one is you need to define, you need to discover the customer, how he thinks, what is his ambitions, how he make the decision, what is the decision-making process. So, for example, as a chairman of Connect Ventures, when I need to make a decision of the business, you can see the Anil Gupta in a different phase. But when you see the Anil Gupta playing with the kids, you can find a different Anil Gupta. Okay, I will not have that kind of formal process to buy a chocolate, which may I have employed for certain other business activities. So you need to understand how I will make the decision for a particular product you want to sell it to me. What are the ambitions? Why I am buying a chocolate? I want to please my wife by giving the chocolate, or I wish to please my kids. Both may have different emotional values. So you need to identify, you need to define the customer, you need to design the customer, you need to discover the customer, you need to define the destiny. Then only your identification of customer is complete. Just saying this person from this age group or from this income group is not sufficient, first of all. So there is a 5D method to discover, which I usually discuss with the people when they come for the business coaching to me. Another one I will say, plan your rich methodology. If you want to become the rich, you need to follow my rich methodology. Rich is basically R for reach, I for influence, C for conversion, and H for harmonic relationship. So client is like a girlfriend. If you love somebody, you are investing time with her, but so first of all, you need to understand what is the 5D of that particular girl. Some girl may like the guy with the big mustache. Somebody may be liking the clean shave. So you need to understand what kind of guy she like. You need to present yourself in that way. And then reaching is not sufficient. Okay, you need to impress her. And impressing is also not sufficient. You need to propose her. And in proposal, she should accept it. And when she accepts it, you need to have the harmonic relationship. You marry with her, but fighting every day is not something which you would like. So same way with the customer, you need to understand what is he, what kind of services or product he requires, what kind of ambitions that your target customer have, what kind of emotions your target customer have, what kind of financial constraints your target customer have, what kind of advantage you can offer to him. With all this planning, you need to reach to the customer. So that is your R completion. Now the I. You need to understand what is the most efficient way to convey whatever you have. So for example, everybody of us have the toothbrush, brushing our teeth everyday basis. Okay. Now there are several variants of a particular toothpaste. इसके अंदर नमक है, इसके अंदर charcoal है, it's a total cavity protection, it's a whitening protection, enamel rebuilding protection, whatever, blah blah blah. There is. It looks like if you use their toothpaste, there is no need of dentist. So all dentists will suicide. Okay. These are all the features of that particular toothpaste. Okay. Now, using those toothpaste, the advantage is I will manage better oral hygiene. Okay. Now, the benefit of that is I can protect my teeth from cavity and other damages, and I need to go lesser times to the dentist, and it will improve my quality of life by having better dental health. So last, the benefit is mine. The features and advantage was of the toothpaste. Okay. So you need to explain the benefit to me that, sir, if you will use the toothpaste with the salt, then this is the benefit. Otherwise, the people may understand, okay, toothpaste with salt, we cannot have it in the fasting. Okay. So what is the most effective way to convey the kind of value you can offer to your client? That is the impression part. Then the conversion part. So conversion part is also very important. You are following the girl, you are investing time, and you are not proposing that. Is there any advantage? So conversion is basically you can have certain triggers to convert. You can find certain opportunity where you can sell. You can find certain opportunity where you can resell, where you can have referral sales. You can have the renewal sales. So those opportunities you need to find. Similarly, once you serve the customer, you need to maintain the harmonic relationship. All the big brands, you might have find the common thing is the normal people, the normal businesses, average businesses, they don't take care about the harmonic relationship. They say, मैंने बेच दिया है, and after that, बिका हुआ माल वापस नहीं होगा. ठीक है? And that's it. Next time you come or don't come, I don't care. So that is a very wrong attitude of an entrepreneur. You need to manage the harmonic relationship. It will help you to retain that customer, find the referrals from that customer, and renewal of the business. In that way, it will help you to unleash the total lifetime value of that particular client and better brand perception. So for example, Connect Ventures works with the 4 brand perception. One is the highest speed of action. Another one is accuracy and competence. Third one is ease of doing business with us. And fourth one is the cost competitiveness. So we have defined these 4 brand promises, and not for the marketing. We religiously follow this so that in the longer term, the brand is known for these values. The people should understand we can take care, the businesses can depend upon us, and just like this vision, we have designed our logo also with this, like globally we are taking care of the businesses. So that kind of perception we want to build. Just like the Google have built the perception of the search engine. Whenever you talk about Google, something you are talking about the search engine. Though they have the Gmail also. Okay. So you need to create that perception, that brand value, that customer harmonic relationship will help in this. So this RICH, rich methodology you need to complete. That is my advice to the first generation entrepreneur.
Thank you, sir. My second last question will be, how long does it take to complete the process of setting up the offshore company and opening an offshore bank accounts in the US, and in which banks can we open offshore bank accounts? What would be the minimum balance that needs to be maintained in the offshore businesses account in different banks?
Okay, great. So basically, if you talk about the US, the company incorporation, usually it takes 5 to 7 days to incorporate a company, but we can always expedite it with the additional government fee. So government says there are 7 different priority levels. So for example, in Delaware, if you incorporate a company, the standard priority is 8 business days. But if you pay $100 extra, you can have a different priority. So maybe you can have, say, 2 days priority. Even if you want to incorporate in 2 days, so 2 hours, it can be a different fee. Even if you want to incorporate in 1 hour, you need to pay $1,000 extra to the government. Okay, so the speed depends upon what kind of urgency you have. If you don't have urgency, let's go with the standard process so that we don't incur extra cost. But if you have the urgency, we can discuss with you what kind of different activities in this entire process where we can save the time. So for example, in company incorporation, 8 business days is required. Maybe you can save at the max 8 days only out of 8 business days, isn't it? You cannot save 10 days out of 8 business days. So, but when we apply for the EIN, means the tax registration, there we can save a lot of time. So what we suggest is, if you have any urgency, we can process the company incorporation with the standard process, but EIN we can take it overnight. So that way you will save a lot of time, because EIN it takes 46 days to 60 days in the EIN registration. So there, if we try to expedite, you will save 1.5 months to 2 months. So that way we can, depending upon your needs, we can suggest you how soon you can do it and in how much cost you can do it. The cost can start with $500 and it can go up to even $2,000 also. It all depends upon what is the type of entity you want to have, in which state you want to incorporate, at what speed you want to complete all the formalities. So it depends upon that. So minimum cost can be $500. And another part of your question is the bank account.
Yes, sir.
So bank account, basically you can have, say, 3 different options in the bank account. One is the conventional bank. For example, Chase Bank, Bank of America, like that. Okay. Second one is the fintech banks. These are the digital banks, and but the regulated by FDIC only. These are FDIC member bank only. So whatever the security you will be getting in Chase Bank, the same security of money you will be getting in the digital bank also. And these digital banks are cost effective as well. And then third is the EMIs. EMI means the electronic money institutes. I'm not talking about the earnest money, equated monthly installments. Okay. So EMI is electronic money institute. Just like the Pioneer, Shwetaji joined this session from Pioneer. Pioneer is the EMI, electronic money institute. So we can have this banking account relationship with 3 different kind of institutions. I suggest the small and micro entrepreneurs, they can survive with the fintech banks, which will help them to minimize the cost of banking. And the good part is most of the fintech bank allow the 0 balance accounts. So you need not to have any balance. And there is no annual fee, there is no monthly fee, there is no account opening fee. Still, you are taking the advantage of all the banking functions which a conventional bank is offering. So your question is, what is the minimum balance, etc. So
Yes,
we
sir.
mostly advise on the zero balance, zero fee. So most of our partner banks offer only accounts which have the wire transaction fee. Otherwise, beside that, there will not be any fee.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And the last question will be, are there freelance business people in the US or any other country, and can your organization help us in setting up a marketing setup in the US or any other country through which we can conduct our businesses and aspire to get a meaningful business?
Yes, definitely we can do that too. We have some, arrangements with the people in those particular countries, but we need to understand what kind of matchmaking works. For example, if you are an IT company, we can have a lot of people to represent you, but if you are a company dealing in a very peculiar, very niche technology, for example, you want to deal in a defense technology product, maybe we will not have suitable guy for you to represent locally. So if you have any such need, I will invite them to discuss with us the possibilities. I will be more than happy if I can find somebody for you, or maybe I can guide you how to find suitable partner for you in that particular country, so that I can help.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And now I would request again Dr. Anil to conclude the entire session.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much to GCPIT to partner and to conduct this event with Connect Ventures. I would also like to thank Dr. Sundaram and other legends joined here to share the valuable information. The audience who invested their holiday in this session, that is really appreciable. The Connect Ventures has a mission to support entrepreneurs in transforming their startup or MSME into the MNC. We firmly believe for a nation, there are three kinds of soldiers. One is the soldiers who are at the border. Okay. So we can say these are the soldiers of Goddess Durga Ji. Another one is the soldiers of Lakshmi Ji. Okay. Who are into the wealth creation process, offering means of livelihood to people. Another one is the knowledge leaders. So knowledge soldiers. Okay. So these three soldiers are very important for any nation to survive and grow in a secure manner. Connect Ventures empower economic soldiers to conquer the entire world. All the key markets across the globe, we want to serve you. We help you in US, UK, Canada, UAE, Mauritius, Thailand, etc. The empowerment of soldiers for the economic soldiers It's the mission which we started. We founded this Connect Ventures organization. And that is the reason on every Republic Day and every Independence Day, we conduct such kind of event just as a contribution to us for our nation. Today's event, the people from different sphere of the world, the people joined. Dr. Sundaram joined here, Mr. Udit joined here, Swetaji joined here, Mr. Santosh from GCPIT, he took the leadership here to conduct this event and my friends like Viren Joshi, he's a very seasoned cross-border entrepreneur, very helping, and he's also there in this event. So I think from the FIO also joined. So I think all these people, and nevertheless the audience came to here to make this event successful. I thank from bottom of my heart to make this event successful. And just in case, if you require any support, we are always there with you. We can always help you. We can say we are more than happy to help you. So never hesitate if you require any information. It's not only that, okay, when you are giving the business to us, then only you need to contact us. We are in the mission. We are not just doing the business. So you can contact us for any help. If we will be able to help, we will be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Ananya-ji. Thank you, Santosh-ji. Thank you, Dr. Sundaram. Thank you, Viren Bhai.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to conclude.
Thank you, Anil.
Thank you all for participating in this knowledge session. Special thanks to all the speakers who have shared their valuable insights on today. And we will meet on our next event on 10 and 11 Feb 2023. With this, we come to an end for today's session. I once again thank everyone for joining us and wish you all a very happy Republic Day from the entire team of GCPIT. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Gupta
so
sir.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Happy Vasant Panchami as well as happy Australian Day today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sundaram ji.
Thank you, sir.